Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Appreciate you guys checking out the breakdown. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button, all that kind of good stuff. Really, really appreciate it. We're gonna jump right into it here. We're gonna talk about Gypsy police officers, wandering police officers. What is that, right? So somebody sent me a video in talking about this phenomenon, so I wanted to explore it a little bit more. So we're going to do that just now. So what is a gypsy police officer? A gypsy police officer or a wandering police officer is one who travels from city to city, state to state. They get in trouble in one spot and they go to another spot. So we're going to explore this type of phenomenon. So let's pull this up here. Share screen. This one is called Resign in Advance. How Colorado, let me make this a little bit bigger here. How Colorado police officers evade responsibility. Let's see. I'll make that. All right. So this is what's going on down there. Denver. Kelly Davis walked into the Cripple Creek Police Department in October 2021 to report claims of sex trafficking at the Cripple Creek campgrounds. That's when she first met police officer Alexander Coiner Canauer, who was tasked with investigating her case. Disarmed by his professionalism and kind demeanor, Davis started messaging Canauer almost every day. The messages quickly turned sexual, she said. It would take Davis months to realize the unethical nature of his relationship. She said Canauer used his psychological training as a police officer. They don't get that much to take advantage of the situation. She reported the situation to Cripple Creek police. By December 2022, Canauer was charged with sexual misconduct by a police officer, public indecency, and attempting to influence a public servant because of his conduct with Davis, and attempting to influence a public servant. Was she a public servant? As part of the deal, the sexual misconduct charges were dropped. He was sentenced to 58 days in jail, plus 2 years probation for other charges. I lost everything that I had and went to jail for 60 days, said Davis. This was not the first time Canauer had been accused of sexual misconduct while on duty, however. During Davis's trial, it was uncovered that Canauer had been involved in a sexual relationship with the subject of a criminal investigation while an officer at the Colorado Springs PD. He resigned from that position in 2012 and was rehired by Cripple Creek only an hour's drive away. Okay, I'm not going to continue going through that. So you can recognize that you can go to PBS Rocky Mountain and look for that story. And this was just last year, right? Or when it was published anyway. So this is a continuing ongoing phenomenon. And let me also say I'm wearing the hat of my former police department because it matches my shirt. I am not representing them, but anything that I say here is obviously my own because I am in retirement. All right, so that's that story. So we're going to take a look at another story here, and comes from Facebook, and I think this is a news show from Facebook here. And again, this lease was posted February 16, 2024. So they're known as wandering officers, cops who resign or get fired for misconduct. And then, I don't know, can I get the rest of this here? No. I don't know. And then something. All right. So let's play this here.
The 10 starts right now. New tonight, fired and hired. Our investigation expands into cops with checkered past.
It started with Jeremy Rogowski's reports on the Coffee City Police Department. Reports now seen by more than 6 million people.
Coffee City is a magnet for troubled cops.
Something needed to happen.
Criminal charges against a former police chief.
The entire police force is shut down today.
This tiny town of 250 people that once had 50 officers now has none.
Jeremy, your investigation got results and got you asking even more questions.
It sure did, Ranamia. The biggest one, how many other agencies hire cops who got the boot for misconduct? We spent 3 months investigating these so-called wandering officers in the Houston area.
Every officer you're about to see
was fired or resigned from one law enforcement agency and later rehired by another. There's this cop who repeatedly punched a suspect already in cuffs. He was fired from Baytown Police and hired by the Liberty County Precinct 2 Constable. Or how about this officer who tackled a guy for recording an accident scene, his First Amendment right?
You need to
I'm
go.
not leaving anywhere. I'm not.
Resigned from Lake Jackson Police, hired by Oyster Creek. And there's this cop's unwelcome sexual advances toward a dispatcher, fired from Jacinto City, hired by Galena Park Police. KHE 11 investigation.
Listen, if you are at work, you got to be professional at all times. You know, unwanted advances and all this kind of stuff. Of course, we didn't see her saying stop, no, whatever, but he may have been under the power. She may have been acting, or she's going to say that she was under, threat. And I felt, powerless and all this kind of stuff. And believe me, I'm not trying to excuse his actions at all. You got to be professional, and, you got to keep that stuff away. And if it's no, it's no, brother. Sister. If it's no, it's no. Nobody wants to go to work and be harassed. That is just unacceptable. Asked out on dates, repeatedly or whatever. So, and I wouldn't even advise it, even if someone else, male, always this male female dynamic. I wouldn't even advise it for a situation where, somebody asks you, you're the officer, maybe it's a civilian employee or whatever, because if things go wrong, you're looking at the bad. You're looking at something bad. Now you got to answer to IA and internal affairs and answer to your supervisors or city hall about this relationship. And well, it was consensual, but then it wasn't. I never felt comfortable. Nah, don't even do it. Don't even do it. Why does the sound go off on this? What is up with that?
To Houston area agencies. Over the past 4 years, we discovered 184 wandering officers, cops who received less than honorable discharges from one department and got hired somewhere else. Like the Harris County Precinct 4 Constable Office, which gave a job to a cop caught stealing groceries from Walmart. Or Southside Place Police. It hired a sheriff's deputy who called a coworker gay and another a fat mofo. And Clear Lake Shores Police hired a deputy who was fired for telling a black colleague, "We don't want a N-word here."
Why would you decide to hire that individual with that track record?
He's Luis Soberon.
It's bad for the agency. It's bad for the community.
A policy advisor with the nonpartisan think tank Texas 2036, which did a deep dive into Texas wandering officers.
The prime destination for wandering officers are smaller agencies and more sparsely populated.
I wonder if he's part of that whole redistricting thing, 2026, right? Is he part of that? 2036, Texas 2036 policy advisor. Is it what he wants to be by 2036? I'm curious about that.
The hiring pool for these communities is relatively small.
Small departments, he says, generally pay pretty low. And so
it might seem easier for the hiring agency in a small town to take the veteran that's already been trained, that already has experience. Even if they have some baggage, well, they may be messed up one time. There's a way to rationalize that, probably.
So who hires the most wandering officers? By percentage, these small Houston area agencies did. At Arcola Police, they made up 38% of the force.
Are second chances okay, in your opinion?
Erica Carr is Arcola's chief.
Yes, but it depends on what the officer has done.
Carr told us she hired only some of the wandering cops on our list, but concedes
we do have times where a person has made a mistake, they've paid for that mistake, and we give them that opportunity.
Surfside Beach Police had the second most wandering officers, 36% over the past 4 years, including an officer previously fired.
Get your hands up. Turn around.
For using unnecessary force.
Oh my God, you broke my eye. Oh.
William Monsier is the chief.
Is Surfside Beach a second chance agency?
It is no longer a second chance agency.
Monsier says all of the wandering cops on our list were hired before he took the top job about a year ago.
If they would have applied here as I was chief, none of those officers would have been hired. Officers have to have integrity. If we don't have integrity, then how is the public going to trust us?
Chief Monsieur tells me he's rejected more than 20 applications since becoming chief. Now, you can find out what some other agency heads have to say about their hiring decisions online at khou.com. Me and Rob.
Okay, so I'm not going to keep playing that there. So we get the point here. So let's see. So what I wanted to do is discuss, what we do here in Connecticut, and what we do here in Connecticut. And I'll bring it up here. This comes from the general statutes here. This is you can go over to Justeel U.S. Law 2024 Connecticut General Statutes, Title 7 Municipalities, Chapter 104, Police and Fire Protection, Section 7-291C, Prohibition against hiring police officer dismissed for malfeasance or who resigned or retired while under investigation. No law enforcement unit, as defined by Section 7-294A, shall hire any person as a police officer as defined in Section 294A who was previously employed as a police officer by such unit or in any jurisdiction and who was dismissed for malfeasance and or other serious misconduct, calling into question such person's fitness to serve as a police officer, or resigned or retired from such officer's position while under investigation for such malfeasance or other serious misconduct. So in other words, any law enforcement unit that has knowledge of any former police officer, such unit who is dismissed for malfeasance or misconduct, resigned or retired from such position while under investigation for such malfeasance, serious misconduct, and in an application for a police officer with any other law enforcement shall inform such other unit the police officer stands as counsel, right? So in other words, if you got to tell if you know that situation. So in other words, what this is saying is here in the state of Connecticut, if you can't be fired if you've resigned while under investigation for malfeasance, and if you got dismissed for malfeasance, you can't become a police officer. If you resigned or retired, that's why oftentimes I say outright, I resigned. I retired in good standing, right? I didn't retire because there was some investigation going on about that. So there's a case going on right now where there was a police officer who spit in a in an auditor's face there, one of those auditor guys there, and he just recently got arrested. And so that police officer who resigned prior to being arrested, because he resigned while an investigation was going on, he can no longer become a police officer, at least here in Connecticut. Maybe he can go somewhere else and do that, but he can't do it here in Connecticut. So what you have to do is petition for your city, town, department, or a grander scale, your state law agency, because this is a state law here in Connecticut. So you have to petition and ask for your council persons, state representatives, etc., to pass this law. Now, what was interesting about that in the previous case that we looked at, that came from Facebook there about what's going on down there in Texas, is that the council person for the 2036 project was actually kind of correct. There is a dearth of people who want to become police officers for whatever reason. And so, yes, there is this mentality, okay, well, this person messed up in one place. That doesn't mean he or she is going to mess up again. So we're going to give them a second chance. Send them through training, give them some strict instructions, give them some strict oversight, etc. In that case, I think that they should do a psychological and background all over again. But that's my opinion. So so there's another thing that's going on here, and that they're all of law enforcement. Their recruiting numbers are down for the military and for the police. So this is a situation that we really have to take a serious, hard look at. So I'm not trying to excuse anyone's, malfeasance, bad acting, but you're using excessive force. If you're calling people the N-word and all kind of other, sexual harassment type of stuff going on the job, none of that is excusable, and those people should not be given second chances, in my estimation. All right, so this was the video that was sent to me, and I want to address this. So this is, who you are, you sent it to me. So we're going to take a look at this video right here. I have not watched it yet, but this has to do with a gypsy cop or wandering cop, and share screen. Gypsy cop moves 4,000 miles away and then does it again. Okay, so I have not watched this video. We're going to speed it up here, put it on 1.25. It's a 15-minute video, so we're trying to burn through this here. This comes from Civil Rights Law. Gypsy cop moves 4,000 miles away, then does it again. So we're going to watch this here.
Oh, okay.
Like I brought him on top of me, like a suplex type.
You're hitting the ground and he goes next.
Yeah.
Picture this. A police officer leaves the humid streets of Louisiana and lands in the icy, remote city of Juneau, Alaska, nearly 4,000 miles away. But just months into his new job, a routine call turns into a brutal moment caught on camera.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Turn around, you're going to jail too. Put your hands behind your back.
That shocks an entire community, sparks protests, and forces the city to take action and release the body cam and dash cam footage.
Walking now, huh?
This is a story of trust broken and a community demanding answers. Why did this officer flee Louisiana for Alaska? What really happened, and what is going to happen now to this formerly Louisiana police officer? This story is wild. Let's go through it.
You have any more smell salts?
No, that's my last one.
It's July 30th, 2025, just before 8 p.m. in Juneau, Alaska, outside the Douglas Public Library. The evening is calm until the police get a call about a disturbance. A 47-year-old woman, Marissa Didrikson, is causing a scene, throwing water in the face of a 52-year-old man who was sitting on a park bench, and she was hurling racial slurs, saying that he didn't belong in Juneau. One officer from the Juneau Police Department arrives.
Hello, Officer Allen, Juneau Police. Just want to make sure you're all right. Someone said something.
All right. She just grabbed my thing. That's her right there.
Do you know who she is?
That's her right there.
Do you know
I don't
who
know who she is. That's her right there.
I'll talk to her.
He acts calm and professional. He interviews witnesses. He does his best to figure out what happened.
Hello. Yeah, Officer Allen, what's going on tonight? I don't know.
You just threw water in my face. No. You grabbed my things and just smushed my food.
I'll talk to her and I'll talk to you too.
No. I think he's violent. I didn't do anything. No.
People said you were throwing things at people?
No. What? She wasn't with you. You weren't here.
Right. Have you ever met him before?
I just bought my food.
Okay, so you bought food? You went to the gas station?
And I put it here.
Okay, you put it there, and then what happened?
She came walking up.
Okay.
Across the street. She came walking over.
Okay.
And she walked over here and she sat down.
Okay.
My food was here. I was smoking right here.
Right.
She came and she sat down right next to my food.
Were you food up? Okay.
Okay. I went to come retrieve my food because she started just talking to the air.
Okay.
I reached for my food. She grabbed my bag and told me, "Get off this, bitch. This is mine."
Okay.
She ripped my bag.
Your grocery bag back here? Okay. All right.
And then she threw the water in my face.
Okay. Was it a water bottle or a cup of
No,
water?
it's the cup that she had right there.
All right.
That's assault.
Okay. And then what happened after that?
Isn't that enough?
Well, I still want to finish the story.
Okay.
First you threw the water in your face, and then what happened?
Okay. We had to tussle for the bag.
Okay. Your bag.
Then she started insulting me.
Okay.
She walked away from me. I told her to get away from me.
Okay.
She got into the street. She's walking. That's when people that were going inside of Louis.
Okay.
There was a woman with a child here. She was telling the child, "Come here, come here."
Okay.
Okay. All right. And then a woman who was walking with dogs. She's the one who called the police, who
Okay.
described me as an African American male.
Okay.
Then the bus came and you came. The end.
Do you want to press charges on her?
Oh yeah. She got to learn. Press charges. Oh.
Simons, are you the one who called us today?
Sir. I watched it from there in the corner.
Can you tell me what you saw today?
I heard the person in the gray sweatshirt with the white jeans, or the blue jeans, was screaming and yelling at this girl who was sitting there. And then she was in the middle of the street, like that. That's what she was, and yelling. People from the bar also came. Then she came at him from across and charged him. And I couldn't see what she threw, but she did something.
And ultimately, he begins to arrest Didrikson for disorderly conduct.
At this time, you're placed under arrest. So can you stand up for me, please?
No.
Yes. Stand up for me. You're under arrest.
Not gonna touch me.
Yeah. You're under arrest.
Ouch!
Stand up. Stand up. Stand up.
Really?
Yeah.
She's handcuffed and led to a patrol car, but things are about to take a dramatic turn. Enter Brandon LeBlanc, a probationary police officer who had moved to Juneau, Alaska just last fall. LeBlanc, with 17 years of law enforcement experience, isn't the lead officer on this call. He arrives about 11 minutes after his colleague. As Didrikson is being arrested, her male companion, a 49-year-old local man named Christopher Williams Jr., steps in. He's upset. He's following the officers and complaining about Didrikson's arrest.
Hey. No, sir. You see this? Yeah.
Didrikson sort of eggs him on, yelling for Williams to, quote, take care of the man that she was previously harassing.
Take care of him.
Can you stand over here for me?
Take care of him.
Tensions rise, and LeBlanc then steps in and sort of takes charge of Williams. LeBlanc confronts Williams, ordering him to walk away.
Take care of him. Take care of him.
Go before you go to jail too.
When Williams doesn't comply and then approaches him in what LeBlanc called an aggressive manner, LeBlanc tells him to put his hands behind his back.
Wait,
Don't do that. Don't do
that. Turn around, you're going to jail too. Put your hands behind your back.
And what happens next is caught on both a bystander's cell phone and also police body cams and dash cams.
So up until this point, the guy was told a couple of times to get away, to walk away, and now at what point does it become interfering with the what we would call here in Connecticut interference? That is interfering with the lawful duties of a police officer, right? Or you can't do our job because you're interfering. Here we are trying to search this person, the primary Dietrichson or whatever her name is. She's under arrest. They're trying to go through her pockets, etc., and trying to process her. And now I got to be distracted. So now you're interfering with what's going on here. So I probably would have given him maybe one or two more chances. Listen, sir, we told you to get away, but this is a discretionary issue that goes along with it. This is a discretionary problem, not problem, but in law enforcement, we call it discretion. How many chances or how many times are you going to give them? Is it 3 times? Is it 4 times, 5 times? Is it 1 time? Right. So these are certain things that we got to, we are discussing. So here we saw, let's back it up a little bit here, because I want to give this a fair shot here. Right. So he starts, let's go back here to where he starts to arrest. And let's see if we can count how many times he was told to step back, get away or whatever.
Yes.
No,
you're under
you're not
arrest.
gonna touch me.
Yeah. You're under arrest.
Ouch!
Stand up.
Ouch!
Stand up.
Ouch!
Stand up.
Really?
Yeah.
She's handcuffed and led to a patrol car, but things are about to take a dramatic turn. Enter Brandon.
Now,
Really?
Yeah.
now I'm not sure. Now, see, we can see somebody walk in on the other side here, the top corner here. You can see my little arrow here. Somebody's going to walk in. I think that's the other officer. So it's not like the guy just showed up after she was cuffed and all that. I think he's showing up now.
She's handcuffed and led to a patrol car, but things are about to take.
Aim at him from across it.
And ultimately, he begins to arrest Dietrichson for disorderly conduct.
At this time, you're placed under arrest. So
Yeah, we can see him walking down already. So he's already walking down. So it's not like he just got there after. As he's placing her under arrest, that's when he's showing up.
Please.
No.
Yes.
No,
You're under
you're not
arrest.
gonna touch me.
Yeah. You're under
Ouch!
arrest.
Ouch!
Stand
Ouch!
up. Stand up.
Ouch!
Stand up.
Really?
Yeah.
She's handcuffed and led to a patrol car, but things are about to take a dramatic turn. Enter Brandon LeBlanc, a probationary police officer who had moved to Juneau, Alaska just last fall. LeBlanc, with 17 years of law enforcement experience, isn't the lead officer on this call. He arrives about 11 minutes after his colleague. As Dietrichson is being arrested, her male companion, a 49-year-old local man named Christopher Williams Jr., steps in. He's upset. He's following the.
Okay, so what he's doing right now, he's talking over the interaction. This is why I really would prefer to get stuff without people's commentary, because we can see that that they're having a dialogue. You can see this second officer who's complaining about, right here, he's having a dialogue with this person, and this commenter is having this. Right, I'd really prefer people give me the unedited, just straight body cameras, because you can't tell what's going on here. Just like I'm talking over this guy's talking over it.
Is being arrested. Her male companion, a 49-year-old local.
How many times in this interaction that we can't hear because there's this guy's audio and it's his video, but how many times have we heard in this? How many times is he now telling him to get away, step back, stop talking, sir, you're going to be arrested, please go away? How many times? We don't know how many times that's going on.
Man named Christopher Williams Jr. steps in. He's upset. He's following the officers and complaining about Dietrichson's arrest.
Hey, you need to knock it off.
No, sir.
You see this? Yeah.
Dietrichson sort of.
Okay, so there's swearing going on. He calls him sir, or we can hear somebody call him sir. So he's trying to be respectful, polite. There's a swearing going on here.
Eggs him on, yelling for Williams to, quote, take care of the man that she was previously harassing.
Take care of him.
Can you stand up? Can you stand over here for me?
Take care of him.
Tensions rise, and LeBlanc then.
He says, can you stand over there for me, sir? Right? All this matters, right? All this matters. It just looks like this guy just got upset. And this is the picture that's trying to be painted here, as he just got upset and just started going off.
Can you stand up? Can you stand over here for me?
Take care.
And over here for me. Because you're interfering. We can't concentrate on what we're doing. We don't want to miss anything, because this is the officer's frame of thinking. We don't want to miss anything that she might have in her pockets. We don't want to drop anything. We don't want her to, she's in handcuffs. We don't want her to fall down and hurt herself. We don't want anything to happen. We got to do our job efficiently and effectively. And right now, our distraction because of safety is on you.
Him.
Tensions rise, and LeBlanc then steps in and sort of takes charge of Williams. LeBlanc confronts Williams, ordering him to walk away.
Take care of him.
So now we've already got, we can't tell the number of times we've already got, but now the commenter, the civil rights attorney here, is now saying that he's taking control over, and he tells him to walk away. How many times we've already heard at least one other time. Sir, can you stand over for me here for me? We've already heard that.
Go before you go to jail too.
Go before you go to jail.
When Williams doesn't comply and then approaches him in what LeBlanc called an aggressive manner, LeBlanc tells him to put his hands behind his back.
He comes back. We told him to go. We told him to stand over here. Now think about this as an officer's perspective. I know somebody's going to say you're always taking the cops aside, but I wore the uniform. I know these situations, and if you don't get it, if you don't take control of this situation, you will get attacked, jumped. People will open up the doors on you and try to let their friends out. It's all happened. I've been there, right? So we've already heard the first officer say, "Can you stand over here for me, sir?" Called him sir. Somebody said sir. Escorted him away from the scene and said get away. And he comes back. How many more times you gonna do this? How many more times are you gonna play this dancing game here?
Wait, don't do that. Don't do that. Turn around. You're going to jail too. Put your hands behind your back.
And what happens next is caught on both a bystander's cell phone and also.
So we haven't watched this part yet, but right now I'm not seeing it. I'm in the officer's camp. So now I guess there's some of the excessive force which they're going to try to explain. So let's take a look at that.
Police body cams and dash cams. LeBlanc grabs Williams, pins him against a patrol car.
I'm not going to tell you again. You about to get slammed. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back right now.
And then, in a sudden move, drops down and flips Williams over his head in what LeBlanc later calls a suplex-type maneuver, slamming Williams onto the concrete sidewalk headfirst.
Right now. Walking now, huh? What I told you.
So you had someone who was defiant, not following orders, refusing to put his hands behind his back, told to walk away, comes back, and what's the question is going to be whether this suplex type maneuver was justified. I would have to do a deep dive into their use of force policies and what I know this is going to sound like a cop out. You have to do a deep dive, and this is what's necessary. You have to do a deep dive into their policies. Yes, there's Tennessee versus Graham and Graham v. Connor and all that. So you have to analyze it towards that. You have to look at the severity of the crime. You have to look at the level of resistance that is being offered. Right. Those are two major items that had to be explored here. What level of resistance was, maybe he could have waited till the first officer was placed in the first suspect was placed in the car, secured, and then just held him there and then had the second officer and then forced his hands behind his back. That certainly was a possibility. Maybe just stepping back and then, you don't want to disengage, but maybe stepping back and applying a taser but again, is a taser in line? And this is the question I'm asking. This is what you have to look at. Is the taser in the same tier or level as pepper spray, the canine, or a body takedown or a takedown maneuver? If all that is in the same line, then there's no excessive use of force. So if you're unaware, right? If you're unaware, one of the things that we take a look at first when we're analyzing these types of cases is the court cases, as I mentioned, Graham v. Connor. And in that particular case, right, you have to look at the severity of the crime. Here's what the U.S. Supreme Court said. You have to look at the severity of the crime, the immediate threat that the person is posing to yourself, to the safety of the officers and others, and whether the suspect is attempting to flee or in a level and act of resistance. So here we have a certain level of active resistance. He's already walked back up on the officers. What is the officer's frame of thinking? He's told to get away multiple times told to get away, and then comes back and is in this manner, acting this way. And then he's refusing to put his hands behind his back. He's already shown a level of resistance. So how much more of that are you going to take? So that's that particular standard. The other particular standard that we take a look at when we're analyzing these cases are the levels of force, and this is going to be different, articulated different in different places and different policies and procedures, right? So the first one is the first level or the lowest level is the officer's presence. Anytime you call the police on someone, particularly when the police show up in a uniform, then that is the first level of force. You call the police to have someone removed from, from a building. Let's just say that the building in the back here is a doctor's office, and the police are called because they don't want someone there. You are forced that person to leave. Even if the police don't touch them, their mere presence is a level of force, right? The second level, again, here's where it gets a little bit hairy and where you have to have a little more consistency, I would argue, amongst all of law enforcement, what this level 2, 3, 4, and 5 and all that type of stuff, right? So you have, you have putting your hands on someone, takedowns, uh, um, putting your hands on someone, takedowns, a joint lock manipulation, things along those lines, right? Actually, even below that would be verbal. Excuse me. So the lowest would be the mere presence. Second would be verbal. Sir, put your hands over here, stand over there. I told you to leave. Put your hands behind your back, get on the ground, things along those lines. That would be the second level. Third would be now you're going up to, some type of force escalation as far as putting your hands on someone. Again, joint locks, joint manipulations, takedowns, things along those lines, right? And then the next level would be maybe some type of impact weapon, whether it's the baton, a taser, use of a canine, pepper spray, those types of things, right? And then the final step would be obviously the application of lethal force, right? Obviously a firearm or maybe even hitting someone with your car or whatever. So the question that I would have to ask is where in line is this on the third level or so? Because remember, if we're going to call this levels, level 1, tier 1, whatever police departments call it, right? The first level would be their mere presence. Second is use of commands. Okay, stand over here, get your hands behind your back, sir, go away, come here, you're under arrest, stop moving, stop resisting, that type of language. Third is the third level which we're at, right? We're looking at a level of resistance. We're looking at a level of resistance. The man has been told to get away. He comes back. Now he's pinned against the car. Were there other measures he could have used? Could he used OC spray? Could he used his partner? And those are certainly all options. The question is, was the option that he actually took out of line with the spirit of Graham v. Connor and out of line with their policies and procedures? That's the question. Again, I'm watching this for the first time, right? So I'm kind of just going through this and what officers, the balancing test that officers and courts have to use when the police officers are using force, and what the courts are looking at when they're arguing these types of merits. And here I would argue that, well, this would be unfair, and I know people don't like it, and people are going to say I'm always on the side of the police. But if you have been told to do something and he's not doing it, is throwing strikes in line with a body takedown? Is a joint lock manipulation in line with a takedown? Is the use of force, is the use of a taser in line with a takedown? That's the question that I would have to ask. That's the question I would have to ask if it's in policy. And again, let me go back to a story that I talk about a lot. Is I was doing a case, and I can't say too much about it because it may come up again, but I was doing a case in which the use of taking someone by the hand, subduing them, even throwing strikes and all that was on the same tier, same level as the application of a taser. It was the same level. So in other words, the police officer was justified in taking someone's hands and wrenching behind his back, if that's what was called for, and on the same tier and in the same policy it said, or you can use joint lock manipulation or taser, then there's no excessive force. It's in the same line. Now, that was my argument, and the officer ended up winning that particular case. So That's why you have to take a look at how the policies and the state laws are written. We already have Graham versus Connor, which is a U.S. Supreme Court case. Then you have to take a look at the state law. Then you have to take a look at the policies and procedures and look at how they were trained. And in that particular case in which I'm talking about, the officers were trained that if you can throw strikes and you can rent somebody's hands behind their back, and if somebody's actively resisting, then you can do all these types of things. Then also in that line was the application of a taser. It was all justified. So I know people don't like to hear that, but this is how it goes. So if you want greater or stricter measures, and I don't think you're going to get it with this administration, you're going to have to petition and write letters and push for your politicians to do something differently. So let's continue on with this particular case. Here they are being handcuffed again. I'm watching this for the first time.
Roll on side. Alpha Medical.
You can actually hear the thud of Williams's head hitting the pavement. Williams just lies there, motionless, unconscious.
Can I have a medical for one unconscious hit the ground?
And that's how he would remain throughout the end of the video footage. This is a clear-cut Fourth Amendment violation because it was a use of excessive force. I take no issue with the officer arresting Mr. Williams. I agree that he was non-compliant, and I also agree that he did take an aggressive stance towards the officer and instead approached him like that rather than walking away as he was directed. The problem came when he decided to, in his own words, suplex this guy, grabbing him, bending over backwards, and slamming the guy's head into the concrete. A substantial use of force that could seriously injure or kill somebody. That's the sort of injury that can change somebody's life forever. And for what? Courts evaluate excessive force looking at the Graham factors. One, severity of the crime at issue. Secondly, whether or not there was any immediate safety threat. And third, whether the suspect was actively resisting arrest or attempting to evade. This comes down to the fact that it was a trivial matter. And while the guy did offer some level of resistance, there was no serious immediate safety threat that required such a violent and dangerous use of force. Basically, yet another example of a police officer losing his temper and using way too high level of force on somebody in response to a very low, undangerous level of resistance, especially given.
Okay, I hear what the attorney's saying here. The problem is that if you don't take control of these particular scenes, you've already had a combative person, which he's admitting. He's already admitting he's combative. You can escalate. This attorney would know this. You can escalate a little bit above that level of resistance. Listen, it's arguable that this man didn't have to suplex him. There was other things he could have done, but the question is what he did in a takedown. And again, the takedown in the resistance, the takedown was due to the level of resistance which the attorney is admitting that he was offering. So now because the man is hurt, you want to say, well, it was too much and he should have did better. This is the plight of people who are often in the street, the officers who are in the street who have to take control of the situation. And when you don't take control, the escalation on other person's part, and I've been in a situation many times where if you don't take control, it makes the aggressor more aggressive, and they're going to continue to resist. And next thing you know, they're throwing punches or trying to grab your gun or trying to do other things, right? So you have to take control. It's unfortunate. I hope that this man is all right. I don't know the end of the story here, but it's really tragic what happened in this particular case, and I truly hope that this man is okay. But as an officer in this position, they are trained oftentimes that if you don't take control, now he doesn't know what's in his pockets, he doesn't know what the man has on him. Keep that in mind as well. He has not patted this man down. He put him against the car. He doesn't know if he has weapons in his pockets. He doesn't know any of that. So should an officer take a lesser amount of force with an admittedly combative person, admitted by the attorney here, I'm assuming he's an attorney, should he take a less combative, a less aggressive, a less assertive stance, not knowing anything about this man? Or should he take control of the situation? That's the question that you, as a police officer, you have to ask. And you don't want to be hurt. You don't want to hurt anyone else either. I don't believe that this man woke up this morning with the mindset to hurt this man. So,
given the disparity in size of the police officer versus the subject.
Yeah, he's breathing.
As they wait on EMS to arrive, we don't observe the officers rendering any medical aid whatsoever, but they do go get some smelling salts. And not surprisingly, that does not work because this man has been severely injured.
Yeah, that'll probably work.
Again, here he talked about not seeing administering any type of aid. I mean, the man is breathing, so you keep his airway clear, check for swelling and all that kind of stuff. So
Thank you.
well, there he is doing something.
We're gonna take him in. So what's that?
You have any more smelling salts?
No, that's my last one.
No.
I'm sure that they'll take him in, just as precautionary. So we'll probably go ahead and uncuff him for now. They're gonna take him.
Yeah.
Do you know what part of the head hit the ground?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
So when I looked over, you guys were flat, so I didn't know if you had face more if it was on the side or not.
No, like, so I had his one arm here, and he had his other one braced on there.
I'm not seeing any bleeding or anything.
No. Well, I hit ground first.
Oh, okay.
Like I brought him on top of me, like a suplex type.
I'm going to speed this.
So he would have hit the ground from
his side, if anything.
But you went down, you hit the ground, and he goes next.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the hospital.
Well, we got a pretty good head wound now, so we're gonna have to check that out. Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna be in custody, so I'll follow you. You want to put him in custody?
Williams is eventually rushed to the Bartlett Regional Hospital in Juneau, but his injuries are so severe, a fractured collarbone, a dislocated shoulder and thumb, and serious head trauma with bruising and open wounds that he's medevaced to Anchorage, Alaska, and then eventually to Seattle for emergency medical treatment. Doctors even had to drill into his skull to relieve pressure from the bleeding. The community was stunned, and the video that was posted online by a witness went viral, igniting outrage around Juneau. By August 1st, the Juneau Police Department places LeBlanc on paid administrative leave, and they request an independent investigation by an external agency with the Alaska Office of Special Prosecutions. The city manager issues a statement acknowledging the deep community concern and promising transparency. The Central Council of Connecticut and Haida Indian Tribes, noting that Williams is a tribal citizen, calls for a full investigation into the incident and the department. Protests then erupted with around 100 people gathering outside the police station. On August 14th, the department named Brandon LeBlanc as the officer.
This is why you have to do full investigations, because you post a video and everybody's outraged and stuff. From that video that he's showing us right here, we don't know if the whole video, and I had never seen the full video. So
officer involved, revealing his Louisiana background and potentially a troubling past. A Louisiana police officer named Brandon LeBlanc, believed to be the same guy, was sued for excessive force and battery after allegedly breaking a man's jaw and tasing him during an arrest. This actually led to a Fifth Circuit opinion on the topic of excessive force, which I will link below. When the community found out that their local department was basically the one that was way off somewhere that would hire people like this, perhaps that have nowhere else to go, they were even more outraged. Then on August 28th, just one day before the city was already required to release the body cam footage as per a new ordinance, guess what happened? Brandon LeBlanc resigned. The footage released on August 29th confirmed the brutal scene from multiple angles, showing LeBlanc's actions and the devastating physical impact that occurred on Williams. Chief Derek Boss of the Juneau Police Department admits that the incident was not consistent with department policy or values, and the city announced plans for cultural sensitivity training and community dialogue with the Tlingit and Haida tribes. So why did Brandon LeBlanc leave Louisiana for Juneau, Alaska, of all places? Well, we don't have a clear answer, as neither LeBlanc nor the Juneau Police Department has publicly explained the relocation. Some speculate that it was a fresh start after his excessive force lawsuit in Louisiana, which may have left basically a black mark on his career. Juneau, a small, isolated capital city with a tight-knit community, might have seemed like a quieter gig for this 17-year veteran law enforcement officer. So as of now, September 3rd of 2025, LeBlanc is no longer with the Juneau Police Department, having resigned before the independent investigation concluded. That investigation is still ongoing, and the Alaska Office of Special Prosecutions will determine if his use of force was justified or if charges are warranted. Williams is still recovering in Anchorage and faces a long road of rehabilitation. His family says that he's not quite out of the woods yet, and they plan a lawsuit against the department. And meanwhile, the city is grappling with a broader review of policing practices, with the chief vowing to rebuild trust with the community through transparency, training, and community engagement. So what do you think? Was LeBlanc's resignation enough, or should more have been done? Should the city of Juneau be hiring police officers from Louisiana with a checkered past? And when police officers want them...
Why you got to pick on Louisiana like that? I mean, so they can't pick anyone else from Louisiana? I mean, this guy's, don't be taken in by this guy's rhetoric here. I mean, he's obviously a lawyer. He's going to paint everything in a certain way.
Move from places like Louisiana, shouldn't they look a little more closely and vet those individuals? Let me know in a comment below. And remember, the more that this footage continues to go viral, the more of a spotlight is placed on the government officials involved, and the more likely it is, in my opinion, that there's going to be any accountability in regards to this officer at all. If nothing is done, he pops up down the road somewhere else, just like the last video that I did. If I hear anything else, I will do an update, and you can follow along by subscribing both here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. You can follow me on Twitter at JohnBryanESQ. Remember...
All right, that's enough of that. All right, so that's listen, I'm telling you, it's a difficult situation, and this particular individual, we were always taught in our academy that, you know, their level of resistance is what caused the situation. Now, I admit and freely am saying there are other methods he could have taken. Maybe pulled out his taser and tased him, and said, put your hands behind your back. Maybe OC sprayed him in his face, something that would not have, you know, a takedown to the pavement when he's locked up. When he's locked up, his hands cannot prevent his head from hitting the pavement. Was probably not the best. Was not the best maneuver. Definitely. Yeah. I can't give you that definite maneuver, but you know, as a 17-year guy on the force, he should have known better techniques to take someone down. I mean, you could have just, you know, kicked his legs out. Okay, kicked his legs out, and then you know, what I'm saying, spread his legs. That way he has less maneuverability, and then waited for his partner to come in and help him wrench his arms behind his back. There were so many other things that he could have done as far as you know, that takedown, again, where his hands are locked up. He can't brace himself or uses his hands to make sure he can't break anything. I'm sorry to see this whole incident gone down, but I definitely think there was certain things that could have been done. The problem is, and this is where you're going to get, you know, experts on both sides saying one was justified and another group of experts are going to say this was not justified, is how these policies and procedures written. This review that they're going to do by this independent agency, they're going to have to take a look at the policies and procedures. And if a takedown, whatever that's written, doesn't matter what that chief said, if the takedowns are on the same line as everything else I've explained, then it's going to be justified. That's my prediction. And but if it's not, and listen, I'm saying I would not have done that. I'm saying that I would not have, particularly when somebody can't protect themselves on the way down. I mean, unless I see him trying to reach for a gun or trying to reach for a knife or something like that in his pocket, no, okay, all bets are off. Right. I think we get that. But it's really going to come down to how they were trained and what level of force this was and everything else that I explained and all that. So I know you guys are not going to disagree, not going to like this one, but these are my thoughts. These are my opinions. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. And listen, I agree that if people resign under certain circumstances, that it's ugly. It's bad. They should not be able to resign under circumstances. I agree with that. And then move to another city or state or whatever. And, you know, so. All right. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Hit me in the comment section. Much love and peace.